What is up, everyone? Welcome to the FAA podcast. We have another mock draft going down tonight. Apologies for it being a little bit since our last one on the 3rd, but life happens. But tonight we got two of the most prestigious organizations in the NFL, the Pittsburgh Steelers and Dallas Cowboys. Both teams in a state of flux. Cowboys at least have a quarterback capable potentially of winning some games and getting his team to the playoffs. But let's see what we have tonight. Let's get it going here. Of course, Fernando Mendoza to the Raiders. Jets going at David Bailey at 2. The Cardinals go Jeremiah Love. Interesting. Arvell Reese to the Titans. Caleb Downs for the Giants. Carnell Tate goes to the Browns. Jordan Tyson for the Commanders. So Dallas, number 1 I have is edge. And there is one guy which I heard Ian Rappaport say it today about Reuben Bain Jr. potentially being a guy that teams are looking to trade up for. And I think that we could definitely do that here if we wanted to with the Cowboys. PFSN has their number 1 need as corner. They don't have edge till 4th, which I think is very intriguing. I understand that they got Rashawn Gary. They have Donovan Ezrawaku and James Houston, but they need sacks. I mean, they have not replaced the Micah Parsons production. I understand that corner is of concern, but Kalen Carson hasn't been terrible as a 24 5th rounder. Deron Bland, they have playing the nickel on our lads depth chart, 22 5th rounder. Reddy Stewart, great special teamer. They have Corey Ballantyne as well. They signed Darian Kendrick, who I like. Go Dogs. Kobe Durant they signed to start opposite of 2nd-year 3rd rounder Siobhan Revel. And they have Josh Butler as well. So I think the edge is much more of a need than corner is. Now, corner, I kind of have them flipped. Corner and edge. Corner is my 4th one. Linebackers 2nd. So Sonny Styles could also be there. They have Shamar James, DeMarvion Overshone, but they need a ton of depth. Wide receiver, that hinges on whether they sign George Pickens long term, but they need a 3rd guy anyways. I'm not convinced Ryan Flournoy is the guy going into year 3 as a 6th rounder in 24. Jonathan Mingo has not been the greatest. Paris Campbell is a career veteran. Kavontae Turpin is a gadget guy and kick returner. Corner, like I mentioned, interior defensive line, that's kind of less of a need with the Otita Ugbania and Jonathan Bullard signings, but still potentially could get one for competition. Tackle, again, I'm not convinced Terrence Steele's the guy there. They have a Johnny Cornelius, who they going into year 2 as a 6th rounder last year. Nate Thomas going into year 3 as a 7th rounder in 24. But they don't have a guy that I think is capable of being a true starter at the right tackle position. And then interior O-line, that's pretty much for depth. They signed Matt Hennessy from San Francisco. TJ Bass has been with the Cowboys for a while. He's been a good backup for them. Trevor Keegan, draftee of the Eagles. They got him off waivers last year. But again, I think they need to add some competition into the interior offensive line. But here, we're picking 12th, okay? And when you look at the Cowboys draft picks, they have a decent amount, right? We have 2 first rounders, 12 and 20, and then we don't have a 2nd rounder, but we do have a 3, a 4, 3 5s, and a 7. So it's not the worst thing. The biggest thing is 2027. Um, we have first, second, and third, but then we have 2 6s and a 7. Don't have a fourth or a fifth in 27. But I do think that with the last pass rusher at the top of the board here, I think we should come up. I don't know if this, especially ahead of the Chiefs. I think that would benefit the Cowboys a ton because the Chiefs definitely. I have edge as my third need for Kansas City. I know I drafted them a edge last time when we did their mock draft. I actually did not draft an edge rusher for the Chiefs. Surprising. Okay, my bad. But they definitely do need an edge. That's for certain. And I heard that they could potentially go edge at 9. So that's why I think trading up in front of them to get the last top of the line pass rusher here would be benefit Dallas a lot. And it's only moving up 4 spots. Okay. So I think that we could be okay. Um, so if we can send 112 and a third next year, it's a lot. That was a thought. Maybe 2 second rounders back for both of our first rounders, move up 4 spots. But I'm gonna let's see what we can do here. 4th this year and a 3rd next year, or a 3rd, 3rd and a 5th this year. Okay. 3rd and a 5th this year to move up 4 spots. All right. Great trade. I think this would benefit Dallas a ton. I mean, yeah, Carolina wants to come up. That's an excellent trade, of course. You're getting a ton of picks, 2nd, 3rd, and a 2nd next year, moving back 11 spots. Eagles as well. They're paying the in division tax, and Bears as well. I mean, all those are great hauls. But we came up for one guy only. That's Ruben Bain Jr. I think he would benefit the Dallas defense and that pass rush tremendously, despite the short arms. Probably drop a little bit of weight being on a 3-4 team, but he can do it all. So Ruben Bain for the Cowboys. Chiefs, the Eagles coming up. 23-54 in a second to the Chiefs go Francis Mauigoa, Jermon McCoy to the Bengals, Mansour Delane for the Dolphins, Makai Lemon goes to the Saints, Monroe Freeling for the Rams, Sonny Styles for the Ravens, Dylan Thieneman to the Bucks, Omar Cooper Jr. to the Jets, Caleb Lomu to the Lions, Chiefs coming up for Keldrick Falk. They sent 23 and 54, the 2 picks they got from Philly to the Vikings. Caden Proctor goes to the Panthers. The Cowboys are back on the clock here. We have a couple offers, 21 spots moved from the Bengals. Don't really like moving that far. 14 from the Cardinals. 4 and picking up a third rounder. Now that could be intriguing because we just sent our third rounder away. So we do not have a pick in the second or third round. So I actually think that we should definitely take the Browns offer, considering it's a very good value pick. And, we got edge, wide receiver, and corner, potentially Casey Concepcion. All the corners are gone, really. I don't really want to go edge again. Colton Hood actually would be a very good player here. But I think we should move back and pick up that third round pick from Cleveland. And they came up for Kenyon Sadiq. So we are on with the Steelers, ton of picks, 31 moves from the Packers. Bengals want to come up 20. And the 49ers, 6 spots for a second round pick. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, though, what I had quarterback, of course. Quarterback's number 1. No Aaron Rodgers yet. Wide receiver is my number 2. Okay. Why wide receiver? I know Michael Pittman signed, but they need a third guy. And the depth is not the greatest as well. So wide receiver, I think, would definitely benefit this offense a ton. Interior offensive line, they haven't really filled the Isaac Seumalo gap at left guard. They're putting Spencer Anderson there right now, 23 7th rounder. They signed Brock Hoffman from the Cowboys, and they really don't have a lot after that. Corner, they need to find more depth at corner. They signed Jamel Dean, which I think is an excellent signing to man the opposite side of Joey Porter Jr. They re-signed Asante Samuel Jr., which I like. Corey Trice Jr., 23 7th rounder. He has not been very good, just straight out. Dante Kent going into year 2 as a 7th rounder last year. We'll see what he becomes. Danico Slaughter, I do like him, undrafted free agent last year out of Arkansas. Really like him. We'll see if he can do anything coming into camp. And, of course, they have Brandon Eccles at nickel. But I think corner depth definitely needs it. Interior defensive line, Cam Hayward can't play forever. They did sign Sebastian Joseph Day. They have Y.A. Black going into year 2 as a 5th rounder last year. It was Asezio Tumuo. Logan Lee going into year 3 as a 6th rounder. So I do like the players here. Javari Ritzy as well, undrafted last year. But I still think one additional player there, offensive tackle. Broderick Jones has struggled, and he's going to be manning the left side once again. But they need a swing guy. Jack Driscoll's the guy right now. I would like to get him competition. And Dylan Cook. Dylan Cook actually played pretty well for them last year, but I would like to get some competition there at the backup tackle position. So we could go tackle here. Spencer Fano. We have plenty of picks with Pittsburgh. We have 5 selections in the first 3 rounds, 2 1 first, 1 second, and 3 thirds. So we don't have to move back. I really like going guard here, picking up and inputting 1 Penn State player in Isaac Seumalo for another Oliva Vega Ione, the top guard in the draft. Really love this fit for Pittsburgh here. Easy plug and play. Chargers going Caden McDonald. The Vikings go Casey Concepcion. And look at that. Perfect for the Cowboys. Cardinals want to move up 10. Hell yeah. I would love to pick Colton Hood here, but I'm not going to pass up trading a 4th rounder this year for a 2nd rounder next year and what's supposed to be a better draft. And we also do not have a 2nd round pick next year. Or we do. We have 1, but we traded our third rounder. We got that back. We got number 70. We would trade our fourth rounder for a second next year. I absolutely love this one spot. I mean, we're getting 30 points of value. That's fantastic. The Bears come up for Peter Woods. Cool. Good for you. We're not trading you again. 6 picks for a second rounder, moving a sixth or a fifth, I should say. Not going to move back 30. I think we stick here now. We've acquired some capital in the third round this year, the second round next year from Chicago. So I think we stick. And I think this is where we could get our corner in Colton Hood. Now, I do have linebacker and wide receiver as the two needs here. CJ Allen definitely in play at this point. Denzel Boston could be as well. But I really like Colton Hood. He has been fantastic the last couple of years at Tennessee. Him and Jamal McCoy, top tier talent there. So give the Cowboys a corner, and Colton Hood is the guy for me. CJ Allen goes to the Bills. 49ers going Spencer Fano. Brandon Cisse for the Texans. Browns coming up 39 in the second next year from Maxi and Achor. Key Messidor goes to the Dolphins. Blake Miller for the Patriots. Avion Terrell for the Seahawks. D'Angelo Pons. Wow, no Ty Simpson. To the Jets. Zion Young for the Cardinals. Chase Basantis for the Titans. Denzel Boston for the Raiders. Chris Bell to the Giants. Oscar Delp to the Texans. Chiefs going Keelan Rutledge. And Ted Hurst, back-to-back picks for Kansas City. Christian Miller goes to the Bengals. Saints, they go Malachi Lawrence. The Dolphins, they go A.J. Halsey. Here's where Ty Simpson goes, to the Jets. Yeah. Antonio Williams for the Ravens. T.J. Parker goes to the Bucks. Manuel McNeil-Warren for the Colts. Falcons going Chris Brazzell. Julian Neal for the Vikings. Packers coming up for Chris Johnson, 52 and a fourth next year. Titans coming up for Jacob Rodriguez. Manuel Pregnon goes to the Lions. We're back on with the Steelers here. 66 and 101 goes to Carolina from the Titans for Jacob Rodriguez. 2 picks back, 5th rounder next year for a 4th rounder this year. It's not terrible from the Chargers. That's too many picks back. Sorry, Buffalo. I think we stick and pick here with the Steelers. I really like what's on the board and Lee Hunter. I mean, getting Jeremy Bernard as well is on the board. Skylar Bell's got love. But I think we just go with the top pick here. Lee Hunter impressed me at the Senior Bowl. I think he has some tenacity on the inside, can fill out that interior defensive line room. And they have linebacker as a need. I like the linebackers they have. Patrick Queen, Peyton Wilson, Cole Holcomb. They re-signed Malik Harrison. Carson Bruner is a special teamer going into year 2 as a 7th rounder from last year out of Washington. I like him. So I'm just going to go Lee Hunter. I mean, not Keith Abney. Lee Hunter. Vikings, they go Gabe Jackus. Keith Abney goes to the Chargers. The Jags, they go to Anthony Hill Jr., Joshua Josephs for the Bears. Genesis Smith for the Niners. Kamari Ramsey for the Texans. Connor Lew, Bears. Sam Hecht for the Rams. The Broncos go Will Lee. Jeremy Bernard for the Patriots. Seahawks, the Chiefs coming up for Keontae Scott, 74 and a third next year from the Rams. Caleb Tiernan for the Cardinals. Trading Stukes goes to the Panthers. Grayson Halton for the Raiders. Eagles go Cassius Howell. Caleb Banks for the Texans. And we're on with the Cowboys. 4 picks back for their 4th rounder next year. It's too many picks there for the Giants. So I actually like this trade from the Seahawks. We don't have a 4th rounder currently next year. We did pick up an extra 2nd in our trade back earlier. The board here, I would love to get Skylar Bell because we got a corner and a edge rusher, linebacker as well. Josiah Trotter would make sense, but we do have Jacoby Lane as a possibility. We also have Bryce Lance, Jake Goldday as well. So I like this trade. Get us some draft capital back next year from Seattle in the 4th rounder. They come up from Mike Washington Jr., guy linked to Seattle a lot. Josiah Trotter goes to the Commanders. Bengals go Skylar Bell. Saints, they go Davison Igbinosun. We're back on with the Cowboys. Texans want to move up, way up. Seahawks again want to move way up. Don't like moving down that far. So with our edge rusher and our corner in tow, we got 2 picks next year as well. We're finally making our last pick for Dallas. And again, I think just sticking to my needs, okay? I know I went away from that a little bit with the corner pick over a wide receiver and linebacker earlier, but the value was just too great to pass up at 25 for Colton Hood. So I don't see that value here. But I'm going to go with my needs over the wide receiver because George Pickens is there for this year, even though we do need one eventually. I'm going to go linebacker, though, and I'm going to go Jake Goldday out of Cincinnati. Pretty good player, great size, 6'4", 220, lanky, tackling machine. You can see there 57.4 ADP, projected around 2nd. So we're getting a top level player in the 3rd round. Coverage lacking a little bit there. But great comps, Chad Muma, Luke Kuechly, love the traits here, explosiveness, physicality as well. So yeah, give me Jake Goldday for the Dallas Cowboys here. Dolphins going Bryce Lance. That makes sense. The Steelers, we're on with the 76th pick here. Bills want to come up. That's too far up here from the Texans. This is our first of 3 3rd rounders. And we already have our guard and Oliva Vega Ione. Lee Hunter is interior defensive lineman. So if we didn't already sign Rico Dowdle and draft Caleb Johnson last year in the 3rd round, I would say Jadarian Price. That's like a feel pick. This is a very gutsy pick here. Just as a Steelers fan, I'd love to have him. We do need to go wide receiver though, and Jacoby Lane. I really like Bryce Lance, really do. Zachariah Branch is a guy that is potentially there as well. He would fit almost exactly into that Calvin Austin role. He's a little bit taller than Calvin Austin, but same kind of, light receiver there. Jacoby Lane's a big guy, 6'4", 200. So with that in mind, I do think, though, we should go Zachariah Branch just because we already have 2 big guys with Michael Pittman Jr. and DK Metcalf on the outside. And also Zachariah Branch gives you double as a great returner, especially punts. So I'm going to go Zachariah Branch here for the Steelers. Jennings Dunker for the Bucks. R. Mason Thomas goes to the Colts. Malik Muhammad for the Falcons. Jadarian Price goes to the Ravens. Eli Stowers, Broncos coming up 108 and 111. Jacoby Lane, Bills coming up 91 and a fourth next year. Parker Brailsford goes to the Panthers. Demetrius Crownover for the Packers. Back home with the Steelers. Sort of like this pick. Actually, I don't, because we would need more value. They're trying to send us a 6th round pick to move up 6 spots in the 3rd round. Might counter that. Let's see what we got here, though. So we got our wide receiver. We got a guard. We got an interior defensive lineman. What about corner? Not a ton of corners. Tacario Davis is there. Tackle. Yeah, Drew Shelton be excellent here. You know what, though? I am going to kind of go off script. Because I like a lot of these players here, so I'm going to counter the Vikings offer, actually. Give us 163. Move up 6 spots. That's still too much value on our side. Okay. Well, I can't figure that out. So we're just going to go essentially best player available, or at least best player that I like on this team here. Jalen Kilgore, 6'1", 211. Bud Clark's the guy I really love. And I know they have Jalen Ramsey, and I know they signed Jaquan Brisker, Darnell Savage, they have Sebastian Castro, Deshaun Elliott. Bud Clark's a baller, and I think that he would be fantastic. Fantastic. So that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go Bud Clark here for the Steelers. Jalen Kilgore, Vikings come up 91 and 163. Fabechi Nwaiwu for the Dolphins. Jags going Emmett Johnson. Jude Bowery for the Bears. Caleb Alarms Orr for the Dolphins. Dominique Orange. Jags coming up 100, 166. Matt Golban for the Saints. Justin Jolie for the Rams. Dallin Bentley for the Dolphins. Max Clare for the Patriots. Seahawks, they're going to go Deontay Lawson. Vikings go Katron Allen. Eagles go Charles Demings, I should say. Yeah, it's way too much. Sorry, Broncos. We got a lot of players. Guard, D-tackle, wide receiver, a safety. Now let's end it with getting a second wide receiver. I would love to go Drew Shelton. You know, there's questions I think of him, going guard tackle wise, pass blocking questionable. So I'm gonna go wide receiver again. Elijah Surratt is a guy that should not even be close to being here at 99. So yeah. Chargers, they go deny Dennis Sutton to end it. So yeah, wow, we got grades now. Okay. Yeah, we got a B for the Steelers. I really loved the first two picks. I like all these players. These players are fantastic, and the double dip at wide receiver may be unwarranted, but I think Zachariah Branch and Elijah Surratt are ballers. Bug Clark, turnover machine at TCU as well. So, yeah, I really love this draft for the Steelers. Cowboys, they gave us a B as well. We did a lot of trades there. Net value +4 from the Saints. We moved up to 8. We got +38 from the Browns, moving back 4 spots. And we got +30 for the Bears, moving back 1 spot. And then from the Seahawks, we got +9, moving back 4 spots there. So, yeah, I mean, I really liked all the trading that Dallas did. We got Ruben Bain at 8, which I thought was amazing. Colton Hood at 25 was great value as well. Jake Golday at 74, they have that as a B. And the fact is, we picked up a second next year, so we have 2 seconds plus Green Bay's first round pick. And then we also picked up a 4th, which we didn't have. We didn't have a 4th or a 5th rounder next year, and we picked that up. So I think it's a home run selection for the Cowboys. Get their defense a ton better with these 3 selections up top, and then they can fill out the rest of their roster and the offensive side of the ball as well in the later rounds. So that is the show for today. Thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast, Instagram and X. FAA Podcast.com is our website. Check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. And we will see y'all back tomorrow for another mock. That mock will be the Dolphins and the Ravens. So check us out.